Flips it
No,
around.
I think
we're okay.
And eats.
I think someone else ate my chicken tender and then took a bite from the other side.
Oh, this no. This was mine. I wanted to dip from both sides, but I did not want to double dip.
Both sides.
okay,
So-
the dip.
So what I did there.
I'm literally missing a chicken
See,
tender.
I
Dropping
think,
fucking
see, I
knowledge.
think that's funny. And a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's trivial," and it's like, yeah, it's funny to analyze something that's trivial. That's where that's because you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You
This is a
shouldn't
good lead into
care.
my next question. What is funny? What makes something?
Oh,
come on!
I thought you were gonna say what? I thought it was gonna be another question about chicken. that's
the
what
point.
that's where I felt this conversation was leading.
I keep it player while some choose to play it safe. Watch check the resume is risky business in the AA. And I've been witness to this history ever since.
Funny is the ability to say something that people can connect with and find to be out of place and humorous.
Funny is okay. To give the broadest answer to the broadest question, it's making a connection between two things that, on some superficial way, which you can set with the premise, don't belong together. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
I guess because I guess creativity is about bringing things together, but I guess funny is when they don't belong together, and there's incongruity in that. But then a lot of times something is funny just because it's like, hey, I do that, and that can be stupid or deep. Like a lot of times you just articulate something that's never been articulated before.
Do you have any examples of a joke that you had that X factor missing that you were able to figure out?
I talk about, I love the cliche, don't put all your eggs into one basket. And it was hard to figure out how to work that into a scenario, and I finally did by talking about how you approach a woman at the grocery store and you tell her she's a risk taker because she puts all of her eggs into one basket. And that was the creative way I figured out how to make that idea work. And that's the X.
But the joke continues, right?
Yes, and I'm not going to perform it for you now
Yeah.
because, as we say, no money, no funny. No.
Did you...
You know, what do you do when you go shopping and you're buying eggs? You shouldn't put them all into one basket. But what are you supposed to do? Get another basket and put 6 eggs into it? And it didn't have that kick. It wasn't funny.
I will choose my joke about describing how I like relationships, and then I describe how I like relationships as opposed to just like hooking up with girls. It's like I guess I have to do the joke. It's like, okay, so I'm like, oh, some guys like to hunt. I like to hunt, but then I like to feast for a while. And then the line, I'm like a Native American. I use all the parts of the buffalo. I like that because it's such a bad analogy, and it just struck me as a fun thing to say to the crowd. And what's funny, that joke does well, and I like that joke because it's not a good idea. It's completely a character, and the character confronting the audience, which is what I've been into lately. And so when I thought of that joke, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun to say, rather than, oh, and here's the difference. I used to write jokes being like, oh, this is a good point to make. This is a clever thing I found in the world. And now it's more like, what is a more fun thing to do? Respecting that it is live performance and that is more about the character. I don't know. So that's kind of that's one change in which what I think is funny.
When you wrote that joke.
One thing about my comedy is being a weird guy and and making the audience deal with that, which is funny because it's people like that. The audience they demand to be acknowledged, which for a long time I was like, these selfish. Am I allowed to swear in your vlog?
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, these selfish jerks. I like the idea of the not swearing. Yeah. But now I'm like, no, it actually is more fun to acknowledge them. And, I don't know. I changed what I think is funny. Yeah. We gotta do this vlog every few months because every 3 months I completely decide what I think my act should be about.
Who's telling it also matters, and whether or not it's coming from a perspective that is their image. Those two things have to jive for it to be funny, usually.
Sounds good, man. Alright, that's all I got for you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
This has been a wonderful experience.
It's absurd to believe. Ignore us, don't